Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to Hometown Highlights. Today we have a special guest, and his name is Mr. Jerry Hawthorne. He just gave me an interesting fact about his name. But anyway, it's a pleasure to have him today. And he is bringing something that is highlighting our city. A while ago, before COVID or whatever, I guess maybe like 5-10 years ago, we used to have something called a Jamboree. And so he is bringing that back to Fort Meade. So I introduced to you this morning Mr. Jerry Hawthorne. Now, I just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the Jamboree.
Ms. Jacqueline, the Fort Meade Jamboree actually started in the mid-'80s by Lee Devane, Fort Meade resident. And Lee invited some people to his home for a jam session, and they filled up his living room after a few months, and then they moved to another house here in Fort Meade, Sherman Register, who was the fiddle player, and they filled up his living room, and they thought, you know, we might have something here. Maybe we should move this show to the park and give it a name. And that is when the Fort Meade Jamboree was born, and it ran for 18 consecutive years, according to the Lakeland Ledger. And tragically, it ended in 2004 when those 3 hurricanes came through and just devastated the city of Fort Meade. So, and that's been 18 years ago now. So, over the years, several people have asked me if I couldn't somehow get the Jamboree restarted. And so, about a year ago, I approached Jan Bagnall, Fort Meade city manager, about restarting the Jamboree. I gave him the history of the Jamboree and my intentions on restarting it. And he was very gracious. His comment was, what can I do to help you get this show started? The city of Fort Meade needs good quality entertainment. So that's how we got started. And then about 2 months later, I made a presentation to the Fort Meade City Commission. And Mr. Ackman, we got a unanimous vote to restart the Jamboree. So we are really proud of that, and we've been working really hard. I have a 3-man team that works with me on the sound system. My company is OnStage Audio, and I do sound reinforcement, and I've been doing it for 35 years. I learned how to do live music right here at the Fort Meade Jamboree from Lee Devane 30 years ago. And who knew, all these years later, I would still be in the business, but here we are, and now we're restarting the Fort Meade Jamboree.
Well, that sounds wonderful. We're so glad that you are providing us the opportunity to start the Jamboree. I think that, the setting at Peace River, the stage and everything just looks wonderful. And it was sad that we had all those hurricanes. I remember that when they kept coming through, and it seems like we had 5 in 1 year. Seems like I can't remember, but 3 or 4 in 1 year. Mm-hmm. And so I can see why it stopped. But hopefully the setting is good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How are you getting the news out that the Jamboree is starting?
That's a great question, and we are taking flyers to 2 radio stations. The Outlaw 102.1, fairly close to here, and then WPCB in Lakeland is promoting the Jamboree. We take flyers out to the RV parks, which is where we get a lot of our patrons this time of year, and then we the Chamber of Commerce in Fort Meade is promoting it, and then I have Facebook pages for my name, Jerry Hawthorne, and OnStage Audio, and we promote it heavily on my 2 Facebook pages. So that's right now how we're getting the word out. Ms. Priscilla Perry, I should say, made some photographs at the January Jamboree, and she is going to be putting those on her Facebook feed, and I believe she's going to put it in a newspaper that she publishes in, including the Fort Meade newspaper. I think she has 2 publications she uses.
Well, we hope that the word gets out. Now, who are some of the artists that are going to be showcased?
In January, I was very pleased to have Tommy Devane and the Straight Shooter Band open the Jamboree. Tommy, of course, is Lee Devane's son, who founded the Jamboree, so we were able to work that out. This month, February, we have George Morris and the Lariats. They're a country band from Bartow and Lakeland. I've got Eli Mosley. Eli Mosley sang for the first time as a young man, a little boy, on the stage of the Fort Meade Jamboree. And now he is working out of Nashville. He's from Bartow, but he's working out of Nashville with a band, and they are touring the country, and he is making a name for himself, and it's just really, really great. Sherry White is going to be on the schedule in a couple of months. When I first met Sherry at the Jamboree, she was just coming back from a great career in Nashville. So we have a lot of great local artists. Last month we had John Summerall. John's been singing for 30, 35 years, and he was one of the original acts at the Fort Meade Jamboree when I started in the mid-90s. So we just have a lot of good local musicians. From time to time we may be able to get some people outside the area, but there are a lot of great musicians right here in the Fort Meade, Bartow, Lakeland, Hardy County area, and we'll be using and showcasing our local talent at the Jamboree. The only difference, I might add, between the artists that we have at the Jamboree and the people you hear on the radio is our guys have just decided to stay home and raise their family, but they are just as good as the folks that you will hear on the radio. Fantastic musicians right here in our area.
So, is there a cost admission to get into the Jamboree to hear these great people?
Yes, we are charging $10 per show, and we feel like that's a very fair amount. A movie ticket is $10 or $12 these days, but for $10 you get to see 5 or 6 high-quality acts, and 3, maybe sometimes a 4-hour show, but at least a 3-hour show. And before, we didn't charge admission, but these days you just can't find a good high-quality band that's willing to come in without getting paid a little bit. So we are having to charge, but it is $10 admission. Kids under 10, there's no charge.
So it's a family-friendly event.
It is a family-friendly event, yes
yeah,
it is.
And so we can have our kids out there if we want.
Yep.
So what time does this take place?
The Jamboree runs from 6 to 9 p.m. and like I said, it is all family friendly. We don't have any dirty vocals or anything like that. It's all family friendly, and just a good night out. And we always have a food truck that comes out. This week, it will be in February the 12th. It'll be Wada Wings and Delight's Emporium. That's an ice cream shop from Bartow, and they will be very good, I'm sure.
Okay, all right. Sounds like it's going to be a great time. So let me kind of go over what you said. So 6 o'clock, second Saturday of every month.
That's right, second Saturday of every month.
And $10 admission. So we want everybody to put that on their calendar. So if they want to hear some nice country music, come on out to the Jamboree, right?
That's right. We do country, bluegrass, gospel, line dancing, and clogging, and that's the Jamboree. This month, I'm going to have one special little group that they do. It's a husband and wife, and they do kind of a bluesy act, stepping outside our comfort zone just a little bit, but I think they're very good. So looking forward to having them, and yep, that's the Jamboree.
So anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. We've just about covered it. Just come on out on the second Saturday of every month, 6 to 9, Fort Meade Jamboree at the Fort Meade Outdoor Recreation Area. One thing we have noticed is we have an address for the Jamboree, but if you put in the address, you're going to be wandering around on Highway 17. The address somehow doesn't work with the GPS systems. But if you will put in Fort Meade Outdoor Recreation Area, it will bring you right to us. That's how you find us.
Okay, so everybody, make sure that you put the second Saturday of every month, Fort Meade, Florida, Peace River Outdoor Pavilion.
Peace River Outdoor Recreation Area.
Okay.
It's a long one, but
All
it
right.
works.
So we don't want you riding down 17. So, so we encourage everyone to come to the hometown of Fort Meade for their Jamboree, and thank you for joining us with Hometown Highlights.